Buongiorno, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a comparison video between two of the most sexy, intoxicating fragrances, unisex fragrances that I have ever smelled. And it is between Carlisle from Parfums de Marly and Blessed Baraka from Initio. So if you want to know everything about these two fragrances and how they compare to each other, then please keep on watching. And before going through the comparison, let's do a review of the two fragrances. Starting with the notes. And if you look up the notes of these two fragrances, you may say there could not be more different. Let's start with Carlisle. And Carlisle, as you can see from the note structure, is a predominantly patchouli fragrance, a sweet patchouli in a way. And since this is the third time for me to film this video, the first time I filmed it was 2 years ago. I lost the footage, but I still have the notes. I noticed that on Fragrantica, they changed the note. They added, let's say, they didn't change, they added notes. The same goes also for Blessed Baraka. So let me get the opening. When you first spray it, you will get the nutmeg, you will get the patchouli, a little bit of sweetness because there is the vanilla. But this fragrance smells totally different on skin than on paper. And this goes for both of the fragrances. So you must try these two fragrances on your skin because it's going to be a different experience. Actually, you should try these two fragrances on someone else. Let me explain. These two fragrances have the most beautiful sillage you can imagine, and it is different than the smell that you will get on yourself. Like when you smell the fragrance up close, it's totally different. So I would also recommend to test these two fragrances on someone else, and you will get the full experience, the sillage, this intoxicating sexiness of these two fragrances. Anyway, so Carlisle, when you first spray it, as I said, you get this patchouli, the earthiness, but the patchouli here is this chocolatey patchouli. It's a warm, fruity, spicy patchouli. On paper, I get more the patchouli. I get the nutmeg because the nutmeg is also quite strong here. So if you are not a fan of nutmeg, I would not recommend this fragrance for you. So you get the nutmeg, you get the vanilla, you get the patchouli, a little bit of fruitiness. On my skin, however, I'm getting more the vanilla. I'm getting more the fruitiness, the chocolatiness of the patchouli. It does really transform and warms on my skin. Absolutely stunning fragrance. This was love at first sniff for me. When I smelled this fragrance, I was hooked. I was said, this is the most intoxicating, beautiful, sexy fragrance I have ever smelled in my life. And it is unisex, but it does lean masculine. So this is a fragrance that I would recommend for men and also women who are more daring, let's say, in their choices. They love a little bit of an edgy fragrance, let's say. This is definitely for you. Enormous sillage, long performing fragrance. The performance on this fragrance is 10 out of 10. I am not a fan of patchouli, but this fragrance is on another level, let me tell you. So if you love patchouli and you are okay with nutmeg and you are looking for the perfect, sexy date night scent, Carlisle is one of the best. Like, when it comes to patchouli, for me, it is the best. Unfortunately, too masculine for me, but I mean, this fragrance on a man, oh, amazing. Now let's get to Blessed Baraka. And Blessed Baraka, actually, I used to have a full bottle of. I decluttered it, not because I don't like the fragrance, it's because I don't need a full bottle of it. So I have a decant, and it's more than enough for me for the occasions I wear this fragrance, let's say. They used to mention only 3 notes in this fragrance: musk, amber, and sandalwood. And yes, finally they caved in and mentioned other notes. So now you have also vanilla and white flowers. And if I can say anything about it, I would add specifically Hydian. Now, Initio, generally speaking, uses a lot of Hydian in their fragrances, and I believe it is also present here. So mostly this is an ambery fragrance, a musky ambery fragrance. Extremely, again, alluring, captivating, and has the most beautiful, sexy sillage. Like, this is kind of a fragrance that will drive people close to you. Like you are instinctively drawn to the people. It is amazing, like an amazing scent, extremely sexy, extremely alluring. For me, this is totally unisex, but for some women, it is a little bit too masculine. Now, what makes this fragrance so special, in my opinion, is the musk that is used here. If you know the musk that is used in the Musk Ravageur, in its dupe Maharis from L'Herbolario, a little bit also Nambre Centrico in Armani Privé, although not mentioned in the notes. It has kind of this animalic musk, but it's not stinky. It's kind of a carnal musk, if that makes any sense. And it's beautifully complemented by the amber. And I love the ambery accord also used here. Not to be confused with ambergris, which is a natural occurring ingredient. Amber is actually an accord. So it is a combination of different notes to give you this ambery effect. So this warm, sweet, resinous effect. Usually it is a combination of vanilla, benzoin, labdanum, some resins or some balsamic notes sometimes, all mixed together. And this is why it smells different from one fragrance to another. And I absolutely love it here. I would add to the notes that are mentioned also a little bit of cinnamon. Like I am getting slightly cinnamon tones in this fragrance, and Hydian, as I said. And it's not like I'm smelling Hydian. What mostly I am getting is the effect that Hydian does to my brain. So Hydian is one of the notes that gives me massive headache if I just overspray a little bit. This is my issue with Initio fragrances in general, and I think it is present here because if I just overspray, and it is a very strong fragrance, so you don't need to overspray. By overspraying, I mean more than 2 sprays, because it is extremely strong. I immediately get a headache. I'm not sure that it is in the notes, but at least the effect is there. And this is my second most loved Initio fragrance after Oud for Greatness. I love Oud for Greatness. This is my number 1 when it comes to Initio, but it is too masculine, so I personally wouldn't wear it. But while Blessed Baraka is for me totally unisex, again, this fragrance you have to test on your skin, because on paper, like I have it here on paper, and I'm smelling it on my hand, and it's almost a totally different experience. On paper, I am getting the amber, but I'm not really getting this carnal musk that I am getting on my skin. I'm not getting this hint of cinnamon that I get on my skin. So definitely it's a fragrance that you have to test on your skin and also smell it in the air. Smell it as a sillage. It is, again, this most seductive, alluring, captivating smell that I've ever smelled. One of the best sillages I've ever smelled in my life, and that says a lot. Amazing performance, enormous sillage. Don't go heavy on the trigger with that fragrance, and has a great longevity. So highly recommend Blessed Baraka. Now let's get to the similarities and the differences between these two fragrances. As you may have noticed, like the note structure is totally different, and you are totally right. One is an ambery musky fragrance, and the other is like a sweet fruity patchouli. But these two fragrances in the air, I don't know, it's not like I can say I'm smelling here the same notes that I'm smelling there, but they have the same effect, they have the same sillage, the same alluring, captivating sexiness about them. I would say Blessed Baraka a little bit more than Carlisle. And also they smell kind of similar, but it's not like I can pinpoint what is the note that is in common between these two. Like, it's crazy. And again, since I worked on this video now for quite a long time, and every time I do a full test on these two fragrances and everything, I noticed on Fragrantica, like at the beginning, 2 years ago, when you looked up on Blessed Baraka, you will find that the first fragrance that was in the section that this fragrance reminds me of, it was Carlisle. And it was like 150 persons who say that. And now it's not anymore, but all the other fragrances that they are mentioning, I am not familiar with. So they are maybe dupes, like more dupes than similar fragrances. I don't know. But these two fragrances are for me similar as an effect, as as a smell overall, without being identical or extremely similar. I don't know if that makes any sense. Carlisle, I would highly recommend for men, while Blessed Baraka, I would recommend for men and women. And since Carlisle is more of a patchouli fragrance, it has slightly of this earthy freshness in it, while Blessed Baraka is very deep, very ambery. I love both of them, and I would recommend both of them, especially for men. While for women, I would say go for Blessed Baraka. It's more feminine, giving like the ambery tones of it to Carlisle. And again, please do me a favor, and when you test these two fragrances, smell them on someone else and get the sillage, because it's mind-blowing beautiful in the air. And that was it. That was my review and comparison between Carlisle from Parfums de Marly and Blessed Baraka from Initio. Please tell me in the comments down below which of these two is your favorite, and do you spot maybe some similarities or difference between the two? And also, if you have any other ideas of comparisons videos that I should do in the future, I have a whole playlist of my comparisons videos that I will leave linked in the description. And I usually do a comparison video once a month. So if you like these kind of videos, please consider subscribing if you didn't already, and hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. If you like this video, I will highly appreciate it if you give me a thumb up. That will help me a lot. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time. Ciao!